Pack Open is brought to you by Corsair, Monster Energy, Esport Management, Windows 10, Omen by HP, and GGBet.
Well, hello, ahoy there. We're at the Ahoy Arena, funnily enough, in Rotterdam for DreamHack Open. And before the break, unfortunately, we did say goodbye to Besiktas. But right now, we have to say goodbye to yet another team because Asterion are going to be fighting for their survival against CR4ZY. Unfortunately, yeah, we got to say goodbye to one, and we're going to say goodbye to yet another two teams later on as we have our deciders matches for both A and B's groups. But who is it going to be? Well, I'm going to be here talking through the action. My name is Frankie Ward, and I've got some experts to actually answer my questions, no matter how inane or bizarre they are, and they are Potter and Blair.
Did you just call us bizarre?
No, I said my questions are bizarre.
Oh, questions are bizarre,
I basically was saying you put up with a lot and you should be paid gazillions for the work that you do here.
I completely agree with you.
Yes, yeah. So we'll have some words. You can basically have my fee for putting up with me. Now, let's just recap really quickly before the break. We did see the result that we expected. So Hard Legion, a team that did make it through to the legend stage of the Berlin Major, did send Besiktas home, but they still need to win one more series against Heroic to book their place in the Championship Sunday matches tomorrow. Now, taking on Group B, Asterion versus CR4ZY. Whoever wins this is going to be facing Blair.
Yeah, this is the easier group, some people might say, right? Four is obviously looking really solid indeed. We saw them reach the final to Blast Pro Moscow when they lost to Avangard. They'll be looking to have a revenge matchup there. If you look at the rest of the teams, we have CR4ZY, who have a new lineup right now. They have Ships and Emmy coming in after losing the star players to Gamers 2. And then, of course, we have the other guys coming in, Asterion, who they're the underdogs as well, but they had a very rough start yesterday. 16-1, getting completely, utterly obliterated by the guys from Forest, but they have a chance here. CR4ZY, they looked pretty good yesterday, but losing to Havu, I mean, it's kind of like Havu played well at the same time CR4ZY. You could feel like, yeah, they're missing the Nexa, they're missing the Hunter in that lineup. So I think Asterion could put up a better showing here compared to yesterday.
I have to agree with you. Although CR4ZY are missing the heavy hitters in Nexa and Hunter, I would say that they controlled that in Dust 2 match the majority of the time. It was really in Havu's hands to kind of claw their way back in, and kudos to them for doing it, but CR4ZY certainly had control of that Dust 2 match majority of the time.
Well, let's take a look at your 3 reasons for this matchup, because I don't know what they are, but I know you have them.
Yes, so I've got the 3 reasons why here, and this is 3 reasons why CR4ZY needs to win this series and win this series convincingly. And with reason number 1 starting off is the 3 core in Letni, Otto, and Esperanto. We've got to remember these guys are going to be fighting and competing in the next major next year and playing versus the best teams in the world. So this is the start of their rebuilding process. This is the start for them to kind of set their goals for themselves and be competitive. And reason number 2 is the expectations. Although, as I mentioned, the heavy hitters in Nexa and Hunter are no longer a part of this unit, their expectations have already been raised. They've got their foundation to come back onto. So we're expecting to see more of that coming out of the CR4ZY side. And for reason number 3, it's the map pool. We're in the BO3s today, and they should be able to come out on top. As Sudan mentioned, Asterion were looking a little lost yesterday, as they should be. They are coming in as a full-on mix, so CR4ZY should be at a huge advantage in this series.
Thank you very much, Potter. And we are going to go straight into our map veto again, because I just really like the mind of Blair. He literally does this full-on calculus on his notebook whenever he can. He's constantly scrolling. So what have you got for us here? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts here are Overpass is going to get banned out by CR4ZY. They did not play Overpass. It's a map we're not going to be seeing here. Asterion, that's a question mark. We don't have much information, and especially when you're a mixed team, there's not much you can really read into it, right, based on what they've banned or picked in the past. But if I'm Asterion, I want to pick a map like a Mirage or like a Dust 2, which allows you be a little bit more free-flowing, play a little bit more loosey-goosey, and allow your big guns to shine. So I'm expecting to see an Inferno coming out from Crazy. That's a map they used to enjoy a lot. And for Asterion, it's either Dust 2 or a Mirage pick, and I think the decider is also going to be either a Dust 2 or a Mirage.
Oh, yeah, I was hoping that Asterion would come out and actually veto that Inferno, because yesterday, as you mentioned, Sudan, they did not look comfortable on that map whatsoever.
Yep.
And Inferno is such a team synergy heavy-based map, and so it's going to be very worrisome if Crazy picked that Inferno, but it looks like they... Oh, wow. Asterion picks that Inferno.
Cojones.
Wow. I respect that, actually.
That's quite ballsy indeed. This could really come and kick them in the butt later on.
Or not, you know? I mean, we spoke, and I spoke about the possibility of teams being able to scale throughout the tournament, learning off of your experiences, learning off your losses, and that's really the only key thing is that they lost 16-1, but obviously they feel like they've got the game plan.
The problem is, it is a map that Crazy is so very good on. So yes, you might have fixed those mistakes you made yesterday, but you're facing off against a much more superior team. And bear in mind, even though we talk about Crazy, you know, losing their main two star players, Emmy, for example, in game later, he was fragging out of his mind yesterday, right? So it's not like they're really going to be struggling that much. And now with Inferno coming in, it feels like a yikes moment for me.
The thing is with Asterion yesterday, we didn't really get to see any of their CT side at all because they only picked up one round on their opening half, their T half. And literally, it was all about loving that B bomb site. They gave maybe one plant attempt to the A side, which Thomas tried, but unfortunately couldn't quite pull off. So there is an obsession there, and if Crazy have watched anything from yesterday, they're going to know that.
Bear in mind, if you pick the map, your opponents get to pick the side. Asterion picked Inferno, and if I'm Crazy, I'm going to be going for the CD side pick, so could be potentially the same old story all over again. They might just completely get destroyed, but at the same time, you didn't mention right now, Frankie, that they did go to the B bomb side time and time again, so a little bit more variation. If they, you know, grow a little bit more confident and try to hit that A bomb side, they might find a little bit more success. But if Letney, Otto, these guys pop off, it's going to be quite a painful ride indeed.
It really is, and I gotta say, I'm assuming it's because Asterion is such a new team, they're such a new unit together as the lineup, that the only practice that they probably have gotten is that match yesterday. Although it was a 16-1 loss, they feel like they've gotten a little bit of synergy, a little bit of practice on that map. So I'm assuming they had to go back to the practice room here and grind out that map.
And bear in mind, final map going in, if it does go to a third map, it is going to be Mirage, which is a map where, like we said, you know, it's a little bit more puggy, a little bit more free-flowing. I'm a little surprised that Dust 2 was actually banned out by Asterion. I thought they'd probably go for the pick there. But hey, you know what? They probably have a game plan in mind, and maybe they'll show us something a little bit better than what we saw yesterday.
A train for a team that has got two IGLs literally sharing. They couldn't really tell me who's responsible for which area of the round, and that is Thomas, who is their stand-in, with Bernard. This is literally going to be a team that's having to compromise every step of the way, with Lazza taking on Primary Orc from Nino. So it's just that they're literally going to have a go and see what happens.
Train is going to come down to Asterion being as wild as possible. I'm sorry, but if you're even if you're a full-fledged team, Train requires a lot of work on that T side, especially to make your way out of mid, to try to make your way towards in a bomb site, and especially when you have two stand-ins coming in, and it's a map which you usually don't play, and it's being picked by your opponents, you're going to have a very rough time. All you can do right now is just try and make things as uncomfortable for Crazy as possible, and at least, even if you lose a map, you might feel a little bit more confident if you get some of those couple of rounds, couple of multi-frags going into map number 2.
Well, let's look at Crazy then, because Emmy is their former coach. He was kind of removed himself, I imagine. I'm not exactly sure the full story, from the old Valiance lineup in November 2018. And he's been coaching them ever since, calling the rounds when they've been playing online. And now he's hit up the server. We didn't necessarily expect too much from him in their match against Havu. Havu also playing with a coach turned player again. And yet Emmy really showed up. He did not look like a coach that was having to learn to frag again. He looked like someone who's never stopped playing.
Yeah, he definitely looked good, and I gotta say, it's probably a little bit easier for Emmy to slot in, right? He's been behind the team, he's been watching the foundation forming and the players forming and figuring out how to win. So slotting into this lineup and figuring out exactly how he's going to be beneficial for his mates and impactful, I think it was a little bit of an easier path for Emmy to slot in, and we saw that yesterday.
And he wasn't just playing these simple roles or like, baity roles, so to speak. He was holding towards a long area on Dust, to a very crucial position, mind you, and he was doing a damn good job of it. Letney was comparatively a little bit quiet yesterday. We did have, of course, Otto really popping off. He had a great time as well, but I'm expecting, we always had this doubt in our minds. Emmy could be like the big problem for the team, despite being a good in-game leader, but he showed that he can really hold his own. So now it's the job of the rest of them, the usual three suspects, Esperanto, Letney, and Otto, to start being a little bit more consistent than they were in the past.
Consistency is absolutely the name of the game. As you mentioned, Letney, he was a little bit quiet yesterday, and he needs to be that support player, that consistency, to start rolling through the foundation. And Esperanto was also very quiet, and Esperanto has been a player that's always been at the tip of our tongues. Is he going to be the superstar? Is he going to be the star for this lineup? And so he's certainly got to step up to the plate and start showing and performing.
Well, let's take a look at the head-to-head. Are we looking at AWPers here?
Yeah, I would just say AWPers. I'm going to be talking about, well, Otto is the pick I've made from the guys.
We're looking at one AWPer. I got 50% of my prediction right.
Yeah, so not bad at all. And of course we have Thomas. Now the reason I picked Thomas is, yes, he is a stand-in coming in. We should have head-to-head for you guys up very, very soon. But yeah, we have Thomas.
The graphic is not working.
That's all right.
But
I can talk over it.
Brain.
I can talk over
yeah.
it. I got a big head. It's annoying.
No,
I gotta wear helmets, you know that?
I love it. Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
So there we have it. There we have it on the screen right there. So Thomas is the guy who's stand-in for the team, but he's also perhaps the most experienced players when it comes to having played big games, so to speak. Right? He has played with the boys over from No Chance and Michael Lele and all those guys, Tico and whatnot, and he's played the EU minor. While none of his teammates have had that level of experience, so he needs to not just step up, not just in the fragging department, but he needs to kind of help the team compose themselves when things get a little rough, and it will get a little rough, especially on train. On the other hand, Otto, like, this has been the Finnish guy who we spotted like 3 years ago when he was playing in Havo alongside Sergey, and he's had his ups and downs. I'm so happy that he finally found his place in Crazy and has been way more consistent, but to be a consistent AWPer, that is where I still feel is missing out on. There are certain games where he's just going to be not even in the server, and he can't afford to do that considering they've lost Nex and Hunter already.
All right, kids. Predictions time. Potter, always, I come to you.
Well, I'm going to stick to my 3 reasons why here, and I think Crazy should be able to close out this series. Not in the easiest fashion, but they should be able to close it out, so I'm going with Crazy.
I think it's going to be an easy fashion. Crazy.
Yeah. I'm wondering if Rotterdam is here. Are there anyone out there behind us? Can I hear you?
No one's there.
No?
Oh, there they are.
All right, then. Let's have a little play, Rotterdam. Who is saying Asterion? Because I know there's some Benelux boys out there. All right. We got some Dutch crowd in the house. I love to hear it. What about Crazy?
Oh.
Are they cheering?
No, they're booing.
Okay.
They're booing. I like
that. I like this. All right, Rotterdam, that's the challenge to you. I want to see if you can be our noisiest open crowd ever. So I want to hear you cheering for those teams. I want to see you supporting them. And I am going to have to predict Crazy for this one. You can boo me for that if you like, Netherlands. I don't mind. I love it. I feel like Glaive. I'm like the bad boy of CS all of a sudden. I knew I wore this jacket for a reason. All right, then. Twitch chat, let's see what you're saying.
Asterion, obviously 80%. Oh,
wow.
Is that brilliant? All
right.
of
a sudden, Twitch chat.
All right, wow.
Turn around right there.
Yeah. Our casters, our very own bad boys of the DH Open are ready and willing to go. There you go, Vince. He's got his dark jacket on. He's the bad boy of the green room. He's literally the nicest person I've ever met. I'm going to hand over to you guys to get into this series. But come on then, Rotterdam, one more time. Make some noise for your casters.
Okay. We got a little bit of cheers. That's nice. I'm sure they're going to be booing, though, a little bit as we get into this match. But hopefully they'll have something to cheer about. I mean, Asterion is a team that, this is the biggest event of their lives, probably. I mean, a lot of their play has been only within the Benelux scene. And only to add a wrench to that, you don't even have your full lineup. So it's a lot of complications over there for kind of the hometown team. But we'll see if they're able to attacking the Crazy. I mean, to be fair, they're a team that's also vulnerable, right? They're going through roster changes with Chips and Emmy coming on board for their 2 star players, Nex and Hunter, who got hijacked by G2, so they're not in the best of situations either.
No, it's a very good point, but I would say that the foundations of Crazy definitely outweigh Asterion.
Oh, sure.
Now, there is obviously an element of uncertainty, even with us trying to look into Asterion's previous games. It's hard to find much info on them.
No, there's
so you have to
there.
ask, have Crazy been able to dig that up themselves?
Yeah, that's very true. It's definitely tough. And when you got like Luzza, who comes in from the UK scene, usually just kind of most of his play has been on endpoint, different things like that. And then Thomas that's talking about, he was playing on what is now Smash Esports, but was forming that No Chance team that was at the minor. Also, he's playing currently on another international team right now with like Surreal and Crucial and some of those folks. So, interesting stuff.
I've got to back my UK boys though, Dust. We don't often get a chance to cast UKCS because it is in the dumps, let's be honest.
Dude, Letney is so close to that monitor. Holy cow.
I often see pros play and I just don't know how they do it. When they're like an inch away from the screen, I feel like my eyes would burn out.
Yeah. Also, that's the one thing about Letney. He always has a box under his monitor. It's quite odd. I guess that monitor just can't get high enough for him. But will this crowd get high enough as... Well, we can take that a bunch of different ways. We are in the Netherlands. But here we go. We're on map number 1. It is indeed Train. Asterion starting on that CT side.
I know he didn't even mean...
No, definitely didn't. But I could see how that could be taken. So, have fun with that.
On the T side is Train, as you say. Crazy going to be trying to open up their account ships. One of the new recruits going to be going in first. Nino has already thinned out the herd. Next Fox and Thomas all claiming kills. And it's seemingly like Emmy's not going to really get anything done. That's the bomb going with him as well. Otto, too slow to join the rest of his team. He was the player that was flirting with the idea of A main. And I mean, this is looking as close to impossible as it gets, Dust.
Yeah, I don't think this is it, Chief. I really don't. It will be quite the miracle if he pulls off the 1v5. He spots one there in the sandwich of the bomb train and does get that kill, fair enough, and doesn't take that much damage in the process. But now, obviously, they know exactly where he is. They have the bomb down. They still have 4 strong, including a guy with the P250.
That's a corpse. You could just see the feet, and you assumed it was a player stood there.
It's like zombie times, though. You can never be too sure.
Got a double tap.
Yep.
And Thomas will get his second of the round, living up to the double tap. Asterion off to a lead.
Yeah, very dominant pistol round here. It was a quick little inner take, and we could see that the USPs and such were up to the task. Several different players involved there on that inner hold. On a map that Crazy is, the core of the team has been quite good on. We saw them win it at the Major against Furia and in IP to help them get through the different stages. Map that they've had great results on in the past. Definitely going to feel at home here. As for Asterion, I'm not really sure, to be honest, especially with like 2 stand-ins coming in. And this is a very technical map. You never really know what they're going to have in store. But definitely at least a good start by winning that pistol, and then it's going to be pretty much a full save from Crazy in this round.
Seeing a couple players just hopping backwards and forwards. Bernard going to be playing up close on the E-box. Crazy, so little to really utilize going forward into this second round. Just hoping maybe the Asterion get a little bit antsy and try and push a player around the back of them on a flank. Maybe see if they can at least get rid of some of this utility, make it costly in that respect.
Yeah, just trying to gather up here in these box halls. They don't even have a bit of utility, though, so they pretty much have to gather up and just run down the ramp and really hope for the best. There is only 1 defender here. There's not even a rotation really in store just yet, so they might be able to overwhelm Next Fox, but the man whose name is 2 other names combined.
There's another smoke. This is why playing slow can actually pay off to some regard. Asterion using the vast majority of their utility, only 3 flashbangs remaining. So this is thousands of dollars they're going to have to reinvest, replenish the nades. A bomb plant would be the cherry on top, and I'm surprised that Asterion have given up this much ground. Flicking left and right is Next Fox, and it is going to be the kills going their way, but a bomb plant is a pretty huge outcome for Crazy, considering no investment.
Oh, absolutely. It's really going to bolster their buy coming into this next round. They'll be able to get more utility, maybe even get an AWP and play into auto right away. Team that really does use their utility well. I mean, Amy coming in from the coach position as an in-game leader definitely had some cool little inner executes design. They were really good at their Molotov coverage inside that bomb site. So definitely a map that they actually had some set pieces well constructed. So we'll see if one of those come out here. If they want to just play at default, give Otto some time with the AWP to get rolling. Again, he's a guy that had a great major and looked to be getting in better shape here lately, and he needs to be that star for this team now that Hunter and Nexa are gone. Him and Esperanto, you have to feel, are the ones that need to be doing the heavy lifting.
Esperanto did go for the peak after all the grenades were exchanged, and it's Asterion again bouncing out with the kills. Thomas, 5 kills already to his name, make it 6. Aggression, the state of play, and Crazy can't handle this pressure that's being applied directly to them. Emmy does come back with the 1, but The T's in no great shape to make the most of this kill. Have to wait behind the Molotovs. Now we're going to start to extinguish. Luzza, the other UK player, going to chip in for a headshot, leaving Otto 1-on-4, no control over the bomb. No idea where all these CTs are. For all he knows, he's being flanked.
He's got a lot of time to play with, and he has the AWP, but he's got a lot he has to find, and he's not going to get anything done. Luzza with the hat trick there, going to be able to collect that AWP for himself. It's a guy who does some opping in the UK scene, so I'm sure he'll probably want to keep on to it. So a great start here for Asterion. The underdogs coming into the event are at least able to get a good foothold here on Train. They're going to get another probably easier round with Crazy just being on the Deagles. It is the full deco with no utility.
Some armor purchase for good measure, just on the off chance they can get their hands on a weapon. Well, Otto's not going to, that's for sure. Head taken clean off. Esperanto in the meanwhile, 1 Deag at range onto Thomas. They are at least keeping Asterion on their tiptoes. This additionally keeps it thinly spread on B. It is only NextFox here.
Yeah, Esperanto catching Thomas playing aggressive on the upper side. Is the one frag that Crazy have to work with. Shifts is up close, and Nino doesn't expect it, so Shifts gets that kill. He might even be able to grab that AUG. He's got to be careful, though. He knows that there's going to be some crosshairs pointing that direction. Actually gets caught in the back calls instead. Luzza making that rotation. Now a 2 versus 3. Emmy, that's a nice Deag. It gets it back into a winnable 2-on-2. The problem is the bomb, though, Vince. It's not with them. They have to go back and grab it. That's going to cause a lot of problems. It really takes the heat out of this punch.
That's true, but they still have so much time to play with. They can start to play some mind games and see if Asterion over-rotate as a result of this. Maybe assuming that they would already be on the site and planting it momentarily. You can see Luzza purchase just backside. No CT peering across the pop dog. His teammate of NextFox has bitten down on B, so they're very much isolated and split up from one another. And this trade could be everything, but it's Luzza with his sidearm. The P250 ripping through the head of Esperanto. And Emmy 1-on-2 has not been able to claim a weapon for himself. He's still on the Desert Eagle. And he's going to be able to back away after the bomb plant. Terrifying prospect now for Asterion is getting back on here. They don't know that he only has a Desert Eagle. They don't know he hasn't picked up any nades. They're going to have to respect this. Luzza still with his sidearm, having to clear these close angles. Emmy using the E-box as his sanctuary, and now Molotov and a HG bounce behind him. The molly's not going to spread. Is this Deagle going to be good enough? He's missed a bunch of bullets, but does finally connect. There is a kit, though, and the defuse will be forthcoming. It's a nice try from Crazy, but not quite close enough.
Indeed. Almost had it. He did pick the right target to get that diffuser, but there was still enough time nonetheless. A lot of economic damage done it, though. At least they're forcing Asterion to rebuy a lot, trying to keep their money in check. Double op is going to be in play between Nino and Luzza. Crazy able to buy off the back of that. Auto back with the AWP. There's really not been much fragging going on from the Crazy side, though, all fair. If they have, what, like 6 total kills? Luzza has that covered by himself and more.
Yeah, you're right on the money. Exactly 6 frags, and we are into our 5th round. Not fantastic if you're on the side of Crazy. Chips, though, going to start to dip into that pool and pull out some kills. Thomas and Nino caught on Ivy. 2 massive frags. Maybe Crazy can finally make the most of it and capitalize.
Yeah, Chip's taking over Nex's old position over at Ivy on the T-side default. The guy who's played the periphery in Bulgarian teams in the past used to be in that playmaker on the edge, and he's basically given his team a huge edge here. He is that guy that was from Wendigo next to Poison, who seemed like one of those young upcoming Bulgarian players, and he has a chance to try to fill the shoes of Nex as far as delivering the firepower. Can he keep it going, though? His teammates might be the ones doing the job now, but nope, Chips is good for a 3rd.
Again, that's happened. That very same position has caught Asterion off a couple times already. 2-on-4, NextFox low, being chipped away from grenades. Bernard gonna try and hold the line with his M4. Just the 1 kill, does drop the bomb out, but still more than enough time at Crazy's disposal. They have finally bit off some kills and chewed it down and got the round going their way.
It is indeed their first one on the board. Can they build off of it, though? Again, there is still just enough money here for a full buy from Asterion, but that is going to scrape the bottom of the barrel. They won't have anything left if they take the loss here. This could be where Crazy start closing the distance unless Asterion can hold them off in this round. We do see the smokes and flashes coming out very quickly here towards Outer. Already Asterion making a lot of forward progress, but he's taking a lot of heat.
Softened up and finished off. Nino's M4 more than good enough. And it's a free kill as well. No damage was inflicted on the approach. Asterion going to be delighted with that outcome. Their utility pool is pretty low though, Dust. 2 flashes and a smoke.
Not much for Crazy either, though, to be fair. Just the 2 mollies and some flashbangs. No smoke to cut off any angles. Have to rely on duels. Emmy does spot 2 there on the ramp with the bait and switch for Next Fox pans out. That's going to put them even more forward in this round. Chip's trying to see if he can't make an individual effort here, jumping out of T-Con. He's going to have to find some picks. That's a great little find on Thomas's head. Looking for another, and there he is. He's evened it back up.
Bernard was still looking to his left on the E-box side. Nino is so tantalizingly close to finding Ships at the top of the train, who is already low. His 2 kills have opened up a gateway, the floodgate. And Laza is looking to make a splash with his AWP. Otto and Letny, again, pressure's going to mount on them. They've had similar positions to this in the past. The flick over was so close to landing. It would have been a sick flick at that, but Otto going to batten down with the AWP of his own. Next Fox, 12 HP to clutch. 2 players to find, both perched at the backside of E-box. He knows where Otto is, has fragged him out. There is no kit in the hands of Next Fox though, so he's going to have to be quick, smoking onto the site. He's surely a goner. As soon as he taps the bomb, Letny just opens up, and Crazy will get their second.
Again, Ships has just been the catalyst for this team. He's the one that's been stepping up, which has been especially grateful since Esperanto has been quite quiet throughout this tournament thus far. Great work here with the SG. Finding those entries, giving his team some type of opportunity. Kind of a big loss, though, for Asterion. You're the underdog. You had a big man advantage, and then you kind of blew it, and now you have to take a save. Those are the rounds you've got to be able to get if you want to pull the upset.
Could be a massacre. Ships has been wrecked. And Bernard, the assailant, Otto is missing a couple of shots. This is the inconsistency that they were talking about on the desk with Otto. Some days he's godlike, other days very much a quiet AWPer. Laza using that smoke to try and navigate his way around the back of them. Does get the dink, unfortunate not to get the kill on Letny. Looked like a couple of those bullets did connect onto him. How did that grenade do no damage? What is going on?
I don't know, he was so close, but not quite enough, and so it's a 3rd round for Crazy. Money is back, though, for Asterion. Have enough maybe to glass cannon Nino on AWP, but might think better of it. Nope, never mind. He is indeed going to go for it.
It was right on the cusp of not being able to afford it, but it is train, and that and Dusty, I say, that's the AWPer's playgrounds, really.
Very true. I think Black calls it the Zoom banger.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We'll see if he can live up to that name in this round, because if he gets caught out, he will die very quickly without that armor to protect him. Utility is also a bit of a concern.
Yeah, surely, especially in a retake situation. Added to that, they don't have a kit. Now we see Crazy setting up for some type of set piece. They are going to try to go for ladder control. They already have presence towards T-Con as well. Ships loading up the pop flash. Definitely looking to spill out the side or bomb site, which is perfect because there is no utility from the CT side to stop an aggressive push like this. Perfect time to call a play like this.
Otto trying to peer out the fin, hoping that he can capitalize on a pixel protruding around corners. Thomas pushed up on connector. Good for 1 and a second. The Ships tries to make a move up onto train. And it seems like it is starting to derail a little bit for Crazy. Emmy and Esperanto with a smoke between the 2 of them plus a flash. Now going to retrieve the bomb. Not much time left either, though.
Yeah, they just look dead in the water, man. Like they look like they're just lacking a bit of cohesion here. They've already lost so many members, and obviously a 2 versus 4 is going to be a tough ask. Nino's already spotting 1. He misses the shot, though. This gives a little bit of life to Emmy, gets him to E-box, but Thomas will prevent any further forward progress. It's all on Esperanto now. He's good for 1. That's going to be it. Asterion. They're surprised us a little bit here on Train, Vince. We have not seen a whole heck of a lot from Crazy this half.
Yeah, they stopped the 3-round rot as well. It was starting to inflict them.
I mean, man, outside of Ships, there's just been really nothing to be excited about if you're a Crazy fan in this game. I feel like what, 2 of the 3 rounds they won are off the back of ships with like a multi-frag. One was out Ivy, and then one was that late play he made out of T-Con where he brought back around when they were well behind. So they need somebody else to come forward.
This is where you're looking at Otto on Train.
Yeah.
With the AWP. You really need him to have an impactful turn of events here.
Same with Esperanto. Such a hit or miss player. I mean, I see games where he looks like an absolute monster dropping 30 bombs and showing you that high skill ceiling, and then there's other games where he goes awfully quiet. I feel that's what held back the original Crazy lineup with Nexa and Hunter from being an even better team than what they already were. But now he doesn't have that system. He has to be that guy. But we'll see. Asterion so far have really impressed me on this CT side, Vince.
I agree. They haven't given anything away for free. They've fought for every inch of the map. Thomas with no utility, but everybody else is packed full of it. Going to be run boosting. A lot of effort, but for no return, as no one is there. Asterion playing much more centralized and passive. It's Nino watching Ivy way back next to the E-box, backside of the train. Easily smoked off, though, from Crazy's perspective, and they're going to be looking to flash and take this right now. Nino could be called upon for some heroics, but he decides to back away. Everywhere he turns, though, this oncoming terrorist, and it's going to be Otto that puts him down. Still looking in from Ivy, 30 seconds to go. Molly out onto Bernard. He was a dead man whenever he did. That Molly destroyed him. And Thomas, not for the first time on connector boost, has been found wanting by Ships, who continues to impress. And it seems like Crazy are starting to awaken from their slumber. And the good news is, we said that a couple more players have to step up. Well, this round, Otto and Esperanto chipped in for entries.
Yeah, very controlled take from Crazy. Good use of utility, like that Molotov, for example, to clear out ladder. Also held off C with it. Again, Ships having impact as he's had all map long. This time, Otto and Esperanto pitching in. So it is going to be a 4th round for Crazy. Actually won 4 of the last 5. Asterian's one that had that hot 4-0 start. Now it's starting to shrink a bit.
They started really strong, but it does seem to me that Crazy are starting to get a read, or maybe just build a bit of confidence. They are definitely the favorites to win this game. I don't think there's any two ways about it. Sometimes that comes with added pressure.
Yeah, some firepower out here for Asterion. They do have the AWP on Luzza and M4 on next Fox. Bernard, though, being taken out to just 13 HP off that utility.
Here's that run boost again. This time nearly pays off. Nino did go for a peek. More information gathering than anything else. HE has been tossed in to try and deal with him. Asterion still have a little bit to play with here, though, Dust. I mean, they've got a couple of save guns. They've got some utility. This isn't completely out the realms of possibility. That's definitely just made it a lot harder, though.
DreamHack just filling out for 2. Ops trading. This next Fox and Thomas left.
And they're likely to just pull back and save. I mean, there's no real hope of them getting back onto the site. They do have a kit and some nades. But it would have to be the next Fox show if they were to pull this off. Or Thomas to pull out some dirty deeds. And they've tapped out. So Crazy gonna tie us up at 5-5. I think it's safe to say that Asterion are the home team here.
Yeah.
Got a few Dutch players in with a couple of UK players. So on home soil, they are starting to slip a little bit. I do wonder if that tactical timeout is around the corner, because the momentum shift has definitely came in full swing.
That is very true. I think really what's happening is Ships' impact over towards Ivy has been the big difference maker for Crazy in a lot of these rounds, and just his playmaking in general. All tied up now. A little bit of a run coming here from Crazy. They're starting to really control this game after the hot start from Asterion. Now that their economy is in proper order. Double AWP going to come into play here for Asterion. We have seen Luzza have quite the impact throughout this game thus far, so we'll see if he can do better here now.
It does feel like most of that impact, though, is in the first 4 to 5 rounds, and since Crazy have got themselves started, he has been shut out to a degree.
Yeah, I think at one point he had 7, which was more than the entirety of Crazy combined. That was very early on in the half, and as you said, now it's been a little bit different. Just 2 more kills added since that point.
The same turmoil that Ships was going through, but now he is getting a lot more support from the rest of his team.
And here's those inter-executes I was talking about that Crazy like to run. They're really good at these smokes and utility coming in here. They actually try to do it a little bit drier, just the one smoke, and Next Fox is disrupting this quite nicely from the Bob Dog.
Next Fox with 2, but Letney and Otto gonna answer back. They weren't anticipating the connector push. Nino will get Letney, but instantly traded by Otto. Down to a 2-on-2, a lot of aggression. Meanwhile, though, Ships is making moves out on A. He is clearing all the angles, and there's a fast rotation possible from Otto via Pop Dog. It's exactly the play he's going for now. So they went hard on B, decided to course correct. And Asterion gonna be slow to react to this one. They're still respecting the push onto B. Now the bomb has been planted firmly down. 2 flashes and a smoke to retake with, plus a kit. But Luz is gonna have to do some work with the AWP. Otto has missed. Luz is tagged heavily in the process, meanwhile by Ships. His SG aim has been on point throughout this half. Flashback out, and Bernard has been dealt with, as will Ships. It's all down to the AWPer versus AWP battle. Who will come out ahead? Luzza also has the kit in his hands. He's tapping the side. Otto's gonna come round with a P250 and finish off the weakened Luzza. And for the first time, Crazy gonna be in the lead.
And they've won 6 of the last 7. And the money is starting to really run low here on Asterion. Have not seen much from them here. Just a quick little intertake. Otto, the one really dishing the heavy damage with that AWP and finishing the job as well. So now you're starting to see him find his groove. Just trailing Ships in the fragment part. They know that against a low utility CT team, so they want to go for something faster towards outer, and Nade Stack did come in to slow down Crazy just a bit, but Nino also getting Nade Stack. You've been seeing Crazy run that. Something that I feel like a Strauss made very famous was like Nade Stacking the bomb train.
The early damage, though, has been so very brutal for Asterion. Nino first, and Luz got tagged down to 9 HP. Esperanto playing patiently is going to get traded out, though. Next Fox also does have Kevlar, but the rest of his team are crumbling around him. Bernard trying to use the train for his cover. Eventually, though, Otto is going to pluck him out. Next Fox, I mean, honestly, the AK would be a pretty big take out of the round if he can hold on to it. Economy is starting to boom, though, especially for Otto and Ships, so it wouldn't surprise me if they do send a player or 2 to try and deal with him.
Yeah, might as well. You'd really make your life easier in the next round if you get this AK out.
Bomb has been planted.
Oh, Next Fox, he's never going to expect the player behind him. I thought for a moment Ships was entertaining the idea of a shank.
I do think he was certainly considering it. But you know, you never want to go for it and then miss. I think that kind of takes out a lot of people. Kind of like in football. I don't know if you know this, but you actually have the highest percentage chance of winning a PK if you shoot it directly in the middle, but no one does it because they're scared that the goalie won't move, and then they'll look embarrassed. So it's kind of one of those things.
Oh, Letney has just been wrecked through the wall. Luzza, what a flick onto Ships that is. The audacity to push through the Molotov, land the flick, and run away. That's the kind of aggressive plays you want to see more of.
Especially since it disables Ships, who's been such a playmaker on this T side, particularly from that location. So I feel like that was Asterion really saying, we need to take the fight to this guy. Even if he's playing it solo a lot, we need to get him off the board. That's going to limit Crazy's opening potential. And so it was definitely a nice little call there from Luzza. Big impact frag. And now Crazy thinking about still splitting outer. Otto does have control of ladder. They've gotten this time and time again, but Thomas is able to get a nice little timing there with the M4.
Timing now is pretty rough. If Otto was just stayed in position, Thomas may have walked into his crosshair. A lot more damage. Inflicted, Thomas spins around, nearly connects with a double. The damage has already been done, and it should be enough to secure the round. Emmy, last man standing, is full HP. Has spotted the head of Nino. Saw his shoulder, was anticipating the jump. Molotov into connector. He has all the right ideas right now, plus that smoke going down a connector does give him vital information. He knows where one of the last 2 remaining CTs are, and off that information, he is going to B site.
Yeah, he's been able to sneak his way up ladder. We'll go towards inner. Now we do see Next Fox has already rotated this direction with the M4, but now he's actually swinging back over towards back. Calls to cover the back of Luzza, who's focused on the outer cross from ladder. So Emmy is 100% getting this bomb plan. He has a Molotov to perhaps stall out Z just a bit. There is nothing to extinguish that Molotov, so it is going to delay this retake or force him to take a different route, and that gives him a little bit more time. But he's also lost the GG molly he could have used to prevent a defuse, so now he really has to go for the kills.
He's anticipating a push through Pop Dog, not going to be the case. Oh, the whiff Molotov. And Emmy would have heard that as well. Why would you Molotov connector? This could give him a huge amount of intel. He's no longer worried about ramp. He can focus his attention elsewhere. They may have just seen him, but Emmy, oh, how does he manage to spray through the player? Is there going to be enough time? It's going to be incredibly close for Asterion Esports, but they're just about going to hold on. It felt like Emmy may have done enough. There was some serious catastrophic errors on the approach as well, but Asterion just navigate to safety.
Yeah, I gotta give a lot of credit to Luzza, putting them in position to at least have a chance to win with a play like that. That was an incredible shot. He had another big frag earlier on in the round as well, or later in the round, rather. So now it's 6-7. Finally, Asterion is back into round-winning ways after quite the drought. Double op and a scout fence. This is quite interesting. You don't see this too often. Just didn't have the money for a rifle, decides to try to add another scope to things.
Oh, am I going crazy, or has Thomas only picked up a flashbang when he had $1,400 left? I'm pretty sure he couldn't have gone through his incendiary and smoke this early on.
Yeah, not quite sure. We're going to see Crazy starting to set up a little bit of utility here. I think that's the one thing that Crazy's had going for them is they've been able to really exercise the extremities of Outer pretty well. Like they get ladder seemingly whenever they want to. They've been able to really put a dent in Ivy almost every single time. So I feel like they always get that initial control to go for the take itself.
Volleys and flashes being deployed. This is where the scout could come good for Bernard. And instead of picking up an SMG to play up close, he's playing at the range. It hasn't worked out so far. Frank's back and forth. A chaotic round. A bloodbath on the A site. It's going to be Asterion who are coming out worse for wear, though, in this skirmish. Nino perforated by Letney. And our next Fox, who has had a pretty good map so far, to try and clutch a 1v3. The smoke, his ally, to allow him a shielded approach. Made a bit of noise, though, as he wants to try and save the AWP for the last round of the half. He's given this up. Crazy going to be leading 8-6. Now the only question remains, can next Fox hold on to the AWP? He's going to get flashed. The push isn't coming through just yet. This is all a stalling tactic. Emmy is making a move round from the T-spawn. Letney is just playing possum. He's trying to spring this trap. And it's about to close on next Fox. Down he goes. Very well played by Crazy, denying the AWP.
Indeed, and that's really going to put Asterion in a place where they are not going to have a whole lot to go in this final round of the half. They have to buy what they can, obviously. But it's going to be very limited. That gun would have been so great if they could have carried that over. So now we take a little bit of a timeout before we go into that final round. Obviously, Asterion want to try to figure out exactly what we should buy and what exactly we should do. Thomas, one of the stand-ins here, trying to give some leadership over to everyone, make a call.
This is where a bit of a lack of buy in the last round from Thomas could actually help them out. He had nearly $5,000. He could have dropped a glass cannon AWP or maybe picked it up himself, but decides to go for the M4 instead.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 MP9s, 2 M4s, and a CZ. One kit to help them out in case the bomb gets planted. The ship's juggling a op so he can hold an Ivy push and still have a rifle for later. Obviously, that's just the luxury of having this much money going in the final round of the half.
Otto just got carpet bombed in A main, down to 36. Continual nade damage. Always a brief hope at a kill through ramp.
Yeah, Crazy just kind of keeping this slow, steady default play style throughout this entire half into those mid to late round set pieces. They're going to go for a triple Ivy this time around, trying to add that extra weight to this side of the map. Nino will be there with the silenced M4. Does, I think, spot him cross, but he comes back for another peek and Chips punishes him for it.
Yeah, it really is where the SG excels, those medium to long ranges. Should always triumph over the M4. With that kill, you can see the effect it has. It's all on Bernard, and he's only got an MP9. He's been left alone. Luz is playing in the pop dog. There's too many angles. There's too many bodies up against him, choking him, constricting him out the round. Now Luz is about to burn. They may have heard that as well. A couple of ticks of damage, smoke behind it. Bomb planted. It's looking bleak for Asterion to finish the half in winning ways. Luzza, next Fox or Thomas got to pull the rabbit out the hat. And Ships up close with the SG, the way he's been playing, you'd fancy him to nail a couple of headshots. May not be required, or perhaps he will after all. CR4ZY, after a rocky start, have bounced back for a 9-6 lead. We'll find out what happens in the second half after this very short commercial break. Our second half has arrived at Train, and it reads 9-6 to CR4ZY. They now move across to the CT side, Dust. It was a great start from Asterion, but 4 of their 6 rounds came off the back of the pistol.
That is very true. And so when you really think about it, CR4ZY had a bigger half than maybe the scoreboard might even indicate. See if they can keep it up here on their CT side. We do see that Asterion looking to barrel through into this outer site. Smokes are down, but Esperanto's up close, but not good for anything. Nino with the entry.
A solid entry, but still CR4ZY plays all around the site. They're constricting it, they're moving into position, looking to devour what remains of Asterion. And as the bomb has now been planted, Luzza gonna hold on for dear life, goes for the drive-by, connects onto Otto, and is still alive to tell the tale with 100% of his HP. Switching across to the USP. He's gonna have to double up his kills if he wants to clutch this round. It's so close, but yet so far. CR4ZY gonna be able to get the second pistol. Solid effort though from Luzza.
And there were some moments there where you started to believe in Asterion, but CR4ZY, despite losing the opening duel, came out big. You got to really give some props to Otto. I feel like he had a couple of really quick kills to respond to Nito's entry to really get his team right back into the hunt of that round. And ultimately, they will be the first ones to reach double digits here of this elimination best of 3.
The classic buy of a couple of SGs, actually 3 SGs.
Yeah, this is the classic second round, you got the bomb plant type of buy that we see these days. Very dangerous, and almost puts you in a better position than CTs. It's kind of wild. Definitely not imbalanced or anything like that.
Oh yeah, when the nerf comes, and I'm sure it will eventually.
Nah, man, skins are more important.
This.
Gotta get that 20th anniversary out there first.
Not salty though at all.
No, definitely not.
Esperanto certainly not salty as he does take down one of the oncoming Ts. It's not the SG wielders though. And Nino returns the favor with his Desert Eagle. A lot of damage inflicted to Letni. You'd never think that off the basis of these buys, it was actually Asterion that conceded the first round.
Yeah, that's just the world we live in, Vince. Just the universe that we coexist in.
Definitely not salty.
Nope, not at all. But hey, you got a new knife.
Couple flashes and HE, crazy. Gonna be trying to hold on to each and every one of them. So integral to how this map may shimmy and shift between the two squads. Thomas, pillaged down to 32 health. Still 2 players in Ivy though, they're taking this slowly.
Yeah, they're trying to take their time, but there is that entry from Bernard. Gonna give his team a foothold here into this outer bomb site. They're gonna be splitting it from Ivy and T-Con. Nino's still lurking there, but Chips could be a problem. He's up close with the MP9. He's got a teammate for support.
His teammate was Emmy, and he's been eradicated, but here goes the ball. Lost the last player alive in a 2v4. They're gonna hold the line. Letty and Chips barely losing HP between the two of them.
My goodness, in like the blink of an eye, that round goes a way different direction than it was looking for as it opened. Asterion seemed to be in really good position there, but cannot make the most of it, and now they have to save, and this is gonna give CR4ZY a chance to go ahead and push this lead even further, double it up from where they were at the end of the first half. And touching distance of getting that one map advantage in a very key best of 3 in this tournament. Again, loser goes home, which I guess for some of the Asterion hooks aren't that far away, to be fair.
3 HEs looking to plant them down on somebody's head and see if they can maybe get a bomb plant. Positions though right now from CR4ZY, no one's playing up close to any of these angles, so it's going to be very difficult to land all 3 of these nades on anybody.
Yeah. Not even really sure what they're actually planning to use them for. I guess just up close on this train to see if anyone would be playing in that angle, but unfortunately for them, not going to be the case, and that's also kind of telegraphed that there's several players here in these box halls, so I'll cause Chips to come help over with Auto here at inner. Still 3 defenders over towards outer as well, so they haven't really caused any type of rotation.
Because they didn't push right after the nades, this is allowing Letney to just move up close on E-Box to watch Pop Dog. They have a very good read as to what's going on. He could have been blocked out though if they'd gone aggressive. That's a beautiful flashbang. How many kills is Letney going to get? The Grim Reaper comes in, and he is claiming kills with the F4. There's 4 kills for him. He's not going to get the aces. Esperanto has his back covered. But what a beautiful flashbang. Honestly, that flash was the MVP of the round.
Oh, that certainly was. I was scared for him, too, because you could see that he was really focused on T-Con as he was kind of pushing up towards the E-Box. And I thought, man, if these 4 guys pop out ladder before he gets time to get up close on the boxes, he could be in a lot of trouble, but they didn't push. Timing was on his side there. And as you noted, that flashbang from Emmy feeds him some stat padding. And so now it is 12-6. The buy is going to be here for Asterion AWP on Luzza. They're doing a boost here towards T-Con. See if he can catch someone. No one showing themselves, though.
Surprising slow peek from Letney. And Thomas also spraying down onto the aggressive Emmy. They did try to push 2 players up, Emmy and Esperanto, and Esperanto's been wrecked 2 down to 29.
Yeah, not the best start here for CR4ZY. Asterion have done well to find these couple of entries. Luzza with AWP onto Letney down towards Ivy, and Thomas found one as well. Auto up close on T-Con and ladder. There's no one towards the inner bomb site just yet. Esperanto's the closest one, but with an MP9 towards backhaul. So if indeed this bomb takes towards the inner bomb site, you would imagine these 3 CTs are likely just going to save. They have to hedge their bets, right? They're in a horrible disadvantage when it comes to manpower, and so they have to just say, hey, if they come out, or maybe we can still win this round. If not, we carry these guns over.
That's precisely the call. The smoke's now going to be deployed. Chips is going to peek, maybe he can get a cheeky kill through the smoke, just tapping on ramp. It is a close-knit angle to aggress through. There's always a chance to get a couple of lucky headshots. But this is the stage in the round where they pull the plug. And they say, nah, it's not happening for us. Throwing that HE back away. Try and fight back in the next round. Plus, with the economy poor for Asterion, they can't really chase these kills either. It could do more harm than good.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of money for CR4ZY to still be able to buy up other guns around these 3 that were saved. So they'll basically have a nice, full, healthy buy in the next round. And if they're able to win that, all of a sudden, that's where Asterion could be in a really tough economic spot. Basically would have to save and kind of concede the 14th round to CR4ZY to make sure they could get a full buy going forward. So a lot hinges on this next round, really, on how close this game can get.
Yeah, no doubt. Asterion have shown already that they have different switch-ups. They can change up the pace. It's going to keep CR4ZY on their tiptoes. Can't take anything for granted.
Got plenty of crowd out there today. We appreciate all of you for turning up. Yeah. No Overwatch hats today, Vince. That's good.
Yeah, Dust threatening to kick people out.
Well, okay, let's be reasonable here.
Bounce of Dust on the case.
I don't know about all that.
No early kills. We have seen a lot of them come down on A main, jockeying for position, but this time the bullets are going to whiz past heads rather than connect. This is really where Asterion are going to have to show us what they're made of on their T side. They're up against a full purchase from Crazy. They've shown a couple of different sides to them, but this is where they're going to have to start to make something stick.
Yeah, a little bit of tug-of-war being played here above and below the ladder, but no one really coming out the victor of it. I guess you could maybe say Asterion did because they were able to get some damage into Letney, but not much past that. Smoke comes up here, just past Sandwich, and Luzza again finds an opening pick with AWP off this boost towards T-Con. It's twice now he's done that. Last time, not able to build much off the back of it. Maybe this time will be different.
Yeah, last time it was Letney, this time Esperanto. They're going to have to start to get a read on this Crazy. Otto stays in position. Just making sure that main is covered. Emmy's going to try and take the initiative. A flashbang was pulled out from Luzza, has detonated. Bernard and Luzza both come straight up with kills. And now Crazy are struggling. They're gasping for breath.
Whoa.
The ammunition runs dry, but Letney doesn't care. He picks up the AWP, and he continues to lay to waste everybody from Asterion. What a beautiful play from Letney. He's on fire right now.
What in the hell just happened? How has he gotten away with that? He used 3 different weapons in the course of that exchange to find 4 frags. Obviously a guy who does some secondary opping for this team on some of the CT side, so he's familiar with the weapon and able to just yank that round away from Asterion. It's like some type of magic trick.
The jack of all trades, man. Missing out on that AWP shot this time, but Esperanto there to lend a helping hand with his M4A1S. Bernard, what a strange labored spray that was from both players. Emmy finally gonna put him down. Luz has already made a move though outside. And again, Asterion playing aggressively through main, but they don't have the bomb. And
that would be a big problem, Vince.
They don't have both their players either.
Yeah. There's a lot of things they don't have in this round at this point, but we'll see what Luzza can do. He does have time. That is the one thing on his side, perhaps. But nope, Otto will make it a quick and swift death, and that's 14 now. Uh-oh. Little inter-team turmoil there.
I can understand the frustration because they've had chances in these rounds.
Yeah, you have to wonder if that quad kill clutch there from Letney is kind of like one of the final nails in the coffin of this map. Especially when you come into a situation now where they're basically force buying for the rest of the game. This round it's 3 Deagles and 2 rifles. Next round will be far less if they take the L.
That nade. I mean, credit to Letney as well. He often went under the radar.
Yeah.
Wasn't touted as one of the star players, but here he is dropping over 20 kills. 88 ADR alongside him. Some monstrous plays.
Seems like Asterion have made their decision. Lining up in the box halls, they have limited utility, but just enough to pop flash their way out, put a smoke on sidewalk, and try to get that forward progress. There is, though, ships up close with the SG. That is going to be the real problem unless they molly him out of that position.
Otto shoots between the 2 players, but Ships is here with the SG. We saw what he could do on the T side with this gun. 2 kills should be good enough to secure the round. They don't care about the bomb plant at this stage. That is the small print. The overall score reads 15-7, 8 map points.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Again, when you think about how this game started, Asterion up 4-0, even battled a couple of rounds after that, but it has been really quiet since then. The crowd has not had a whole lot to be excited about once we got into the gun rounds of the first half, and it seems to be carrying over. They have just now really one hope left. It's this round here. Can they hold on? At least they have a nice buy because of that bomb plant. They have a double AWP in play. You don't see that too often on T side, but maybe, just maybe, that could be the curveball they need.
Sure, it's worth mixing it up. Hasn't quite worked for them on their default rounds. It's a slow peak, and Bernard did get tagged. Otto a bit unfortunate not to claim the kill. Didn't look far off center mass. trying to look at the positives. Additionally, this is CR4ZY's map pick, of course.
It's very true. Inferno coming up next. Worth noting, it's a map that CR4ZY were actually really struggling on. I think they lost the last 9 games in a row of Inferno on land, so that is something that could play into Asterion's hands. But we're not here just yet. We're still on train.
We are for the time being. CR4ZY, though, they have lost the first player, but we have seen them battle back from worse positions than this. Ships up on box halls. If this goes unchecked, if a Molotov isn't tossed in to deal with this angle, he could be the linchpin. He could be the determining factor, but he wasn't anticipating more players. He thought he had time to toss in the smoke. Not the case. Letney, now on top of the train, can do so much damage. When it's just the one kill that goes to him additionally on the cross, Emmy has missed. There's a lot of errors that have caught up with CR4ZY in this round, and Asterion live to fight at least one more.
Finally, something for the crowd to cheer on, but there still is a long path left to go for Asterion to find an overtime here. They need 7 more in a row. They do maintain a lot of their weaponry, and they have plenty of utility. Also, if they can win this round, they would put CR4ZY onto a save, and that could find them double digits. It would put them somewhat in striking distance of CR4ZY's massive lead at that point, so we'll have to see. Luzza again up to his old tricks. This time it's Next Fox from the base of it that gets the frag.
Now that is the danger of the boost, is both players can see. A lot of boosts on the likes of Overpass. The bottom player can't really see a great deal. But it is a leaning tower of terrorists, and if you decide to push it, you will get demolished. Letney, in the meanwhile, nearly claims the kill onto Luzza, who's been tagged down to 33. The next box is still here. He's going to get flashed and pushed in. Esperanto is not sure. That smoke actually is hurting him significantly. Last bullet in the magazine, though, is true and goes between the eyes of Next Fox, but he has been countered.
Yeah, Nino shot him through the wall. I think we'll get a replay of that later, but that was certainly an impressive shot from Nino. That gets them into the 4-on-2, and again, it gets them closer to that situation where they'll reach 9 and force CR4ZY to save and probably have a real good shot at number 10. And that's when this game could get interesting. But we'll see. Maybe Letney and Emmy still have something to say about it. They're in a 2v4. Letney's in a good position here, but not good for anything. Luzza finds another op shot. Now it's all on Emmy. Watching Ivy, no one will be there, but he can't know that as they take more and more space on outer.
He heard the AWP. He heard that from Thomas. He knows that one of these last 4 players are. The bomb's been dropped. Oh, he was so close to taking down Thomas. If he connects that shot, the round is up for grabs because the bomb just sprawled out into the open. Woulda, shoulda, coulda, though. Asterion, 9 rounds, and as you said, economy dead. Oh my goodness, Nino. Big kill.
That is indeed a beaut.
Because Esperanto just killed his teammates, so he could have backed away after that. Could have been a very different round. Could have been the end of the map, but here we are. Asterion clinging on for dear life, and this is a round that surely should be theirs.
Oh, a taser, Vince. You know I like a good taser.
Is that your kink? Being tasered?
Don't kink shame me.
Next Fox has been dinked. Here comes the aggressive play. Otto down to a measly 7 HP. This is always going to be a formality. They do at least get a kill, though. More than they're probably bargaining for. 10 rounds.
5 more to go for Asterion here to put this into extra rounds. We haven't had any extra rounds just yet. We've had several close games that went the full distance. We've definitely played all 30 a couple of times, but we haven't seen the need for OT. But maybe, just maybe, Asterion can be the one to do that for us.
It'd be quite the surprise, especially considering the odds were so stacked against them. Was it 15-7 at one stage?
Yeah. Remember, they only got 1 round yesterday against CR4ZY, I believe it was. So this is definitely a big improvement from that.
No doubt they've upped their game. Again, A main seems to be the prevalent area of aggression on both teams. It's, of course, a hotspot on train. Offers you a lot more opportunities.
Oh, this pop flash.
We've seen this before. Thomas, while flashbang, still connects the headshot. And Emmy's moved up close. He's going to try and catch them unawares, but he could end up going down if someone pushes out of team main. He now has Letney watching his back, though. No, not quite. Letney can't see A main. There's the smoke.
And another towards ladder, and Amy can re-smoke T-Con as well. So the clock is actually starting to drain. It's going to force these Ts to perhaps start pushing through the smokes. They've already dumped their utility towards Ivy and Mongoose. They want to come out the smoke, but Amy's not close to deal with it just fine.
3-play-3, 30 seconds. Allotted time. Bomb still needs to be picked up as well. Next Fox comes out swinging with the SG. Letney moving into position. Nino, his position is known. He has no idea the bomb's dropped, so he probably doesn't make that play. And Asterion still alive, still breathing, trying to hype the crowd up.
Indeed, it's a reality now, Vince. The comeback seems so far away, but now they're on the heels of CR4ZY. I'm sure they can feel the pressure. They're breathing down their necks. Big kill from Thomas on that push that could have ended the round, basically, but he keeps them in the hunt. Nino, the couple of nice op shots. Yeah, very well done. That was a very chaotic round because of the clock draining, the smokes in their faces at ladder and T-Con, but they broke through it all. And now they have 11, and they have CR4ZY into a saving position for the most part. Maybe some upgraded pistols come out, but this could be number 12 pretty much for free. Then it would be that next buy round that would really tell all, Vince.
This has gone from almost impossible status to now very, very possible indeed. CR4ZY going to be feeling the pinch. They're going to be feeling the nerves.
They're going to need a Heimlich maneuver here soon, Vince.
Oh, they are. Administered.
I hope someone up there knows BLS.
Otherwise, they could choke out of this map. Their choice, their pick.
Yep.
Laza going to mitigate most of that grenade damage, but it is going to be also with his Deagle at range. And is this where CR4ZY break the hearts with pistols? Molotov's now being tossed at the back of the site, going to try and cordon off the CTs. Here comes Shipso from the side. He's going to strike for one. Smoke is going to keep them alive for the time being. Next Fox at range with the SG. It's a tentative round, and CR4ZY have the player advantage.
Don't tell me this is how it ends, Vince. No way, not this way. Surely not. This should be worse 3 and push to 12. Come on, they need to keep their wits about them, and there it is. Nino pressing forward. He finds Letney. He's breathing life back into what was a dire situation, but Ships is still here, Vince. He's still popping off. Now Otto, he's sneaking around, but he doesn't find that opportunity, but he might find this one. No, not quite. Now they know where he is.
Nino 1 on 3 to save it for all the chips. SG's with this spray. He's taking a lot of damage in the process, and Esperanto gonna put this map to bed. Asterion will be bitterly disappointed it's that way it ended. They had every chance to pull it back.
It was like so anticlimactic, dude. I thought that was gonna be kind of a gimme round, and then it winds up not being the case at all. Winds up actually being the way that CR4ZY ends the map, funnily enough. It was pretty much a dominant game from CR4ZY through and through. Again, we had that 4-0 start from Asterion, but then really from that point forward, CR4ZY really dictated the pace of the game throughout pretty much the entirety of it. It wasn't until like the very end where you saw Asterion start getting a couple of rounds, start making you believe, but unfortunately, this isn't that fairy tale ending.
It is, but I think there's a lot of positives, though, for Asterion to take from that.
Sure.
They battled back from 15-7. They showed a lot of grit and tenacity. Love to see that, and let's hope they can bounce back in the second map. We're going to find out if they can. We're going to head to a quick break.